Hi, ministry friends. This is Barry Davis with the Pastor's Helper and lectionarylink.com. Today I want to share with you the power of the pulpit, 5 tips for compelling sermons. Now, what I'm going to give to you is not mind-blowing and earth-shaking. These are 5 very basic tips to help you to engage your audience, and you will see if you study ministers that are really good at preaching, they follow these 5 basic principles. So let me give them to you quickly. The first one is this: you want to tell a story. The Bible is full of stories that can be used as examples to illustrate your sermon's points. For instance, the story of the Good Samaritan is one that many people are familiar with, and it offers numerous themes you can weave into your sermon. So you want to make sure you relate these stories to modern day situations that your audience can identify with, creating an emotional connection. If you simply tell them the story of the Good Samaritan, but you don't connect it to a real life situation that they might be dealing with today, then it's only going to have half of its impact. You want it to be relatable. Some people go through the Bible and they simply do a running commentary and do word studies and this type of thing, and those things are fine and good. But if you don't weave the audience into the story you're telling, it won't have nearly as much of an impact. The second thing is to use simple, clear language. You know, Jesus often used simple language and relatable metaphors to express very profound truths, such as, I am the vine, you are the branches. You keep your language straightforward, avoiding theological jargon that can be confusing or alienating to some members of your audience. And this allows everyone to grasp and engage with your message. Now, there's no problem with going deep into theology, but if you're going to do that, you want to do it in language that people understand. The vast majority of people who are listening to you have not been to Bible college or seminary, and so it's like a doctor throwing out medical terms to non-medical people. You want to make sure and get it down to their level where they understand what you are saying. The third principle is to involve the audience. Jesus asked his listeners questions to keep them engaged and make them think. For instance, after telling the story of the Good Samaritan, he asked, which of these 3 do you think was a neighbor to the man who fell into the hands of robbers? You could use a similar approach by asking rhetorical questions or even seeking responses from the congregation. A fourth thing is to use illustrations and visual aids. You know, people are often visual learners. In fact, most people in our day and age seem to appreciate that way of learning. You want to use visual aids to make your points more understandable and memorable. Consider the way Jesus used everyday items like bread, fish, and coins to make his teaching tangible. Now, this doesn't mean you have to bring physical props, but you might want to. Sometimes I've seen some ministers that are extremely effective with a marker and some poster board. I've seen in the old days, ministers would use chalk drawings, but whatever works for you in this day and age. Most of us use slides or videos or multimedia elements to illustrate our points, but perhaps you could take it a little bit further than that and maybe even have some type of a prop that's made to sit up on the stage with you when you're really trying to engage people with a certain thought or process. The fifth thing is practical application. Make sure your sermon isn't just theoretical, but offers practical advice for living a Christian life. You know, the book of James emphasizes the importance of putting faith into action. So at the end of your sermon, provide the audience with clear, actionable steps that they can take to apply the lesson in their own lives. And it doesn't have to wait till the end of the sermon. Sometimes you might make a practical application with each and every point. But at the very least, you want to wrap things up with a definite action point that people can take that will apply what you've been teaching from the Bible to their lives. Remember, effective sermons are more than just lectures. They should inspire, they should challenge, they should encourage your audience in their walk with God. I'd love to see your comments on this video. Make sure and put them below, and I will make sure and respond to each and every one of them. Again, this is Barry Davis with the Pastor's Helper and LectionaryLink.com.